I sat down at a restaurant and ordered something with gluten in it for the first time in years. My mast cells had become sensitive enough that they were basically a warning light for what was happening inside my body, and gluten was one of the things I'd been avoiding hardest for the longest time of everything on the list. I knew it could set off a flare, but I did it anyway because I was sick of living in fear of food and I wanted actual evidence instead of one more year of avoidance built on a guess. Nothing happened. No change in symptoms, no flare. Just an ordinary meal, the kind I used to be able to eat without a second thought before all of this started. That single meal quietly dismantled years of belief. I'd spent so long assuming food was the primary thing keeping me reactive that if I could just find the perfect safe list, avoid enough of the wrong things, I'd finally be okay. And here was the food I'd feared most, sitting in front of me doing nothing at all. What I realised in that moment was that food had never been the whole story. My symptoms were being driven by things I wasn't paying nearly enough attention to: light environment, daily rhythms, heavy metal load, mold exposure, all quietly running in the background while I was busy interrogating every ingredient on every label at the supermarket. Once I actually supported what my body needed underneath all of that, for me, that meant enough sulfur to keep my glutathione production where it needed to be. The food fear started dissolving on its own because the terrain underneath it had genuinely changed, not just my willpower around avoiding things. That's the pattern I see constantly with clients. Someone convinced the answer is one more elimination, one more restriction, when the real driver was never sitting on their plate at all. If you spent years pinning your symptoms on food and the lists keep growing instead of shrinking, it's worth asking what else might actually be driving the reactivity. Because the food is very often not the whole picture and sometimes barely even part of it. That's exactly what I help clients map, the real drivers underneath the food fear, so they can stop white-knuckling every meal and actually start living again. If you're ready to find out what's really driving your reactivity instead of restricting further, send me a message and let's talk.